Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Stern Agee. Let me tell you a bit about what I've learned from my dealings with Stern Agee over the past few years. Like no one else in their field, they put a premium on listening. Doesn't matter if you have $2,500 or $25,000 or $250,000 to invest. They don't see you as a commodity. They see you as a fellow East Tennessean who wants help securing your financial future. And that is what they can do. Stern Agee. Give them a call. You'll be very, very happy that you did. Stern Agee. All right. Lightning round, sort of quickies here for everybody. First one. What if David Cutcliffe had never left Tennessee for Ole Miss or for Duke?
Tennessee would have probably kept being much better than they were, and they would have retained Phil Fulmer longer because he would have kept that quarterback pipeline coming. Because a lot of guys were coming here because of David Cutcliffe.
And David Cutcliffe would probably be the head coach at Tennessee right now.
I definitely feel like they would have had more sustained success. And there's no question there's a correlation to me when Cutcliffe left and when he came back. You look at what happened after the 2005 season. They had a losing record. He comes back, they win 9, they win 10. They play for the SEC championship, and they're a fourth quarter interception away from upsetting LSU to win the SEC.
Then he leaves and it goes right back.
It goes back down. So I think they would have been much more successful with David Cutcliffe.
We've shown these numbers on the show a few years ago, but Philip Fulmer with David Cutcliffe, 82-19, and a winning percentage of 811. Without David Cutcliffe, 70-33, a winning percentage of 679. So 81% versus 67%. Mike, did you say what was your take if Cutcliffe stays?
I don't know that it would have saved Tennessee football, but boy, they would have been a lot better.
Would have been a lot better, I agree. All right, here's one. Going to go all the way back to the summer of 1992. I think you know where I'm going with this one. What if Johnny Majors never has heart surgery?
That's a good one.
Philip Fulmer never becomes the interim coach for 3 games. People don't fall in love with him.
Boy, Johnny Majors retains his job because I think those 3 games, followed by the games when Coach Majors came back and they tanked after starting out 3-0.
Yeah, they won a couple, and then they had the 1-point loss to Arkansas. On the kick returns, the 7-point loss to Alabama, and the 1-point loss to South Carolina on the bad 2-point conversion.
And weren't they afraid, or wasn't there some concerns of Coach Fulmer going to South Carolina or going to somewhere? You're going to lose.
East Carolina.
East Carolina, was one of them too. I mean, how does that change things?
Dave Hart would have been
wouldn't that be interesting? Yeah. Look, John Majors would have coached for, I think, at least another 5 years because I think you would have been really good that year. And I think Philip Fulmer would have left. He would have taken another job. But I'll say this about Philip Fulmer. John Majors. He had a way of finding really good assistant coaches. Now, they ran a lot of them off, but he hired good coaches.
Well, I mean, you look at how many guys wound up in the NFL off of his staff. But I agree with you. I think he's still the coach through all that. I mean, they'd won 2 SEC titles in the previous 3 years. So it's not like they were struggling.
Would the situation with his contract have worked out?
I think it would have because I think they got pressure to keep Phil Fulmer.
Well, of course, he had the
because of the
as
way
Majors
Coach
will
Fulmer
say,
started.
Had the contract. Then after South Carolina, the contract disappeared.
Wasn't
from the
on his desk anymore.
Yeah.
I think it was before then, wasn't it like after Florida or something?
Through there. And then plus that was about a time too. Coach Majors' biggest complaint was how his salary ranked in terms of SEC
behind
head
Bill
coaches.
Curry.
Behind Bill
That's the
Curry.
one that-
and that's
And
the one
he should
that really riled him up. And then if he would have stayed there a few more years, the salaries were starting to get to be where they really should have been.
You wonder if Fulmer would have gotten a head coaching job that year because he wouldn't have had the 3-0 interim thing on his resume. But even if he does Majors promote Cutcliffe to offensive coordinator, and does Cutcliffe stay while Fulmer goes elsewhere? Or would David Cutcliffe have gone to some startup to be the offensive coordinator for Philip Fulmer? When your career path might have said offensive coordinator East Carolina, offensive coordinator Tennessee. A lot of interesting questions if Johnny Majors does not have heart surgery.
Based on the relationship, I think Cutcliffe would have gone with Fulmer.
Okay. What if Roy Williams had left Kansas after 5 seasons to take what ESPN reported at the time to be a $1 million offer, which was like NBA money? That's what the Lakers had offered him. $1 million a year to become Tennessee's basketball coach in 1994.
He would have left in 2000 when Dean Smith stepped down and Bill Guthridge took over North Carolina, but Tennessee would have had 6 darn good years of basketball.
And they would have been able to sell it to another good coach.
Yeah.
I think it completely changes the history of Tennessee basketball.
And you wonder how close that was to happening because Roy Williams make it sound like it was closer than what a lot of people might have thought.
Yeah, a few weeks ago on the show, you can find it on sportsource.tv. Just watch all of our old shows. But a few weeks ago, we read the quotes to you from a Jimmy Himes News Sentinel story back in '94. Bob, you were silent on that one.
Yeah, because I really just don't have enough of Roy Williams up to that point. Could he have came in and turned Tennessee into something great, or would they have just been good, which Tennessee more or less has been for many years? So could he have made them great? I don't know.
Oh, I think he could have.
With
he would've
Thompson
based on
Bowling
what he did.
Arena.
I think he's one of
Yeah.
the best coaches going.
Yeah, and you don't. I
I do
mean,
too.
Kevin O'Neill, who leaves in 3 years, or Roy Williams. I think it would have been.
And would he have hired
Turnaround.
Jerry Green as an assistant? His buddy.
You know, that's a what if you could lose sleep over.
Oh, here's one that Vol fans can lose sleep over. Here's a good
Watch a
one.
movie at Kmart.
This one's kind of scary for people. What if Justin Wilcox hadn't left Derek Dooley's staff and made a lateral move to become defensive coordinator at Washington before the 2012 season? What if?
Derek Dooley would probably still be your head coach at the University of Tennessee.
Because you never have sincerity, your defense doesn't think.
Exactly.
I think he'd lasted at least another year, and that's as far as I'm gonna go with Dooley.
Right.
I will go with he'll lasted at least one more year.
So he'd have
as
been your
well.
coach this past
because Sinceri became such a joke. I mean, he may be a great guy, nice
Well, if
guy.
Wilcox is there, you don't have sincerity, and it's
Yeah, but I'm saying that hastened Dooley a little bit faster down the road. So if Wilcox stays, I don't think you have the hastening. So you have
Is that
Dooley
like a
here another
christening?
year.
yeah.
See, that offense was really
Highlander
good
2, the
that year.
hastening.
Yeah,
That offense averaged, what, 35, 36 points a game?
Yeah.
If you have any
they
defense
couldn't
at
stop
all,
anybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
you're going to win 7 or 8.
Yeah.
So
and
we
he
need,
stays.
like I said, a thank you
Dooley
note to Justin Wilcox. Thank you for leaving.
All right, very good. We got one last big what if. We said we would bookend the show with a big one at the front, big one at the back. The front one was the 2001 championship game. The next one, we'll tell you on the other side of this break.